Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to the PlayStation Network Party Podcast. My name is Ash, and we are here with episode 21, I believe it is. No BMG hosting today. He's unfortunately disposed elsewhere right now, so you are lumbered with my good self, Ash, aka Ghostbuster, the GM of the XPN network, as BMG would like to say. I am joined, as always, by the American Grand Theft Auto 4 playing hater of Xbox at the moment, Sentinel. How's it going, good sir?
How's it going?
And do you want to introduce our guest? Because you probably know more than I do.
Sure. He is a gamer first, plays both platforms, but he's not afraid to criticize one if they do make mistakes. Donnie, also known as Donnie Z Tweets on Twitter. Welcome to our show.
Thank you very much. How are you both?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, not too bad at all, good sir. It's Wednesday, it's hump day, isn't it? It's the worst day of the week at the moment. Like,
Yeah.
I thought yesterday, I thought it was Wednesday yesterday. I was like, I've only got a couple of days left at work. No, it was Tuesday. So just dragging out. But here we are with the first of back-to-back podcasts day after day. Oh, who scheduled that?
Right?
No rest for the wicked, huh?
That's it. But hey, we've got lots of PlayStation stuff to talk about. BMG has left us a nice pile of topics. Before we jump into them, but I'll quickly go over some of them quickly. We've got Sony predicting it's going to be one of its biggest years for PlayStation, with Marvel Spider-Man 2 playing a big part of that. There's rumours that could be one of the only big AAAs for PlayStation this year. There's Jedi Survivor coming out with a few issues. PSVR2 getting released into local retailers and not just through PlayStation Direct. And also, like I say, this is breaking, like I think came out today. There's more news and confirmations apparently on PS5 Pros. So we'll talk about that in a bit. But before we do, what you've been playing this week, Sentinel, other than Grand Theft Auto 4?
Surprisingly, I've actually been playing a lot, I have been playing Dead Island 2. It's amazing. I have been playing through Redfall. It is pretty rough. And I'll talk about a lot of those thoughts because it's an Xbox game. I think probably on the Xbox Party podcast tomorrow. I'll dive more into those, but just briefly speaking, Redfall 2, it's rough and it was obvious it needed more work. And of course, that highlights an issue that people have with a lot of Xbox games is they generally feel rougher than PlayStation games. But it's because PlayStation and Xbox handle their things differently. I've also, I finished up with Mafia. I've been playing some Grand Theft Auto 4. And, I've been trying to spend as much time with my PlayStation 5 just because it is such a great console. I do play Tropico 6 a lot on there. The controls, obviously coming from an Xbox, being an Xbox gamer primarily, it takes a little getting used to, but, because of how much I go back and forth playing both consoles now, it's actually pretty easy. So I'm actually going to download Sniper Elite 5 today. I'm just going to turn off the haptic feedback for the triggers because that was an issue for me. And I might live stream it, but I'm not sure yet. So that's pretty much what I've been doing this week as far as gaming goes.
Nice. What about you, Donny?
I've had the pleasure of, I say that loosely, Jedi Survivor, which, to be fair, I have been really, really enjoying, but I am struggling with it. I'm doing the review for it, and it's on PS5, and it's ugly. It's not performing well. It's tough, but the thing is that I am enjoying it. It is a fantastic game. The combat's so good again, and it's hard as fucking balls still, but it's really rough. And, a 1 gig patch came out, which, yeah, listen, it fixed a little bit, but it's not fixed enough. And again, it begs the question again about AAA games releasing in this state. It's frustrating.
Yeah. Oh no, it seems to be a more common occurrence. It's even starting to sort of bust into PC as well. Have you noticed a lot of PC games launching terribly compared to how they used to?
Yeah, PC seems to be getting it worse. Jedi Survivor is a great example. The PC version is even worse than console, which is saying something. In the less said about the Last of Us port, the better. So yeah, I think PC guys, these guys have sat on a pedestal for years. That's a joke. But it's now they're the ones that are getting the rough end of it, and I'm not a PC gamer. I won't pretend to kind of understand the ins and outs, but. Jedi, particularly on that, is really, really bad. I thought console was bad, but PC's rough.
Yeah, I feel a bit sort of relieved that all the PC master races are suffering a little bit, though. It's quite nice to see after all those years
of torment.
That's
yes,
it,
I know.
Yeah. Got a PC. I've got a PC.
Yeah.
I just prefer to sit on my sofa, couch, potatoing out with a pad, comfy, instead of hunched over, slapping on some keys, getting bloody wrist ache, and having to wear one of those little wrist braces and stuff like that, like a Sado. And it's just like
is that because of gaming or something else? Are we getting into?
Well, who knows with PC gamers? They do a bit of everything, don't they?
Wasn't sure we were going there. Yeah. Family show.
Well, you should see the rest of them. They normally devolve into much worse.
Yeah, the Thursday show, I think, from last week, XPN USA, it got pretty bad. So bad that it got, banned or something. I don't remember. It wasn't my fault. It's one of our guests had a potty mouth, so it wasn't my fault.
Banned. It was limited monetization on it. Because
there you go. That's the YouTube term. Yep. It wasn't my fault.
Steel clubbing at the beginning of the episode, obviously.
Yeah, I've gotten in trouble before with language I use, so I try to keep it toned down. But our guest from XPN USA, he's a firecracker, so he was using a lot of colorful language. He's a good guy, though. He's a good guy.
I'm trying to think what I've been playing this week.
Wait, hold on. Ash plays 60 games a week, so for him to have to narrow it down is going to be difficult.
No, I've not played much this week. I'm trying to remember what. Do you know what? I've hit a bit of a wall this last couple of weeks. I've just not wanted to play as much, and I've really wanted to just watch TV shows and movies and stuff, and just have a bit of a break. So I jumped onto Jack and Daxter, the original, because it's on PS Plus.
Okay, right.
Classics, and thought I'd have a play on that. The camera on that is awful. The controls for the camera are awful. But it was a nice little trip. I'll probably go back to it again soon. I've been playing a bit of Bully on Xbox, obviously through backwards compatibility.
Nice.
Canim edit, is it in England originally till they gave it the American name?
Yeah.
That's not bad. It feels old though. You can tell it's an old game. It's clunky, but like I said, I haven't played it in a long time. And I was playing that eBaseball Power Pros from Konami, I think it is, which is it's one of their Japanese baseball games that are massive. They've ported it over to for America and European audiences and stuff like that. It's only 79p on PlayStation and Switch. It's they look like little Funko bobbleheads, the characters, but the gameplay is pretty solid. But it's a stripped down sort of game. It's very much an online playing in championships and sort of rankings against other people over playing offline, bar single matches. So I'm not a big baseball fan. I'm from the UK, so to me it's just an expensive game around us. But it was fun to play. And then I've been playing a bit more of that Sackboy: A Big Adventure that was on PS Plus, the free games. I'm quite enjoying that. I've just finished the first boss in the first world, so I'm on to the second world now. It's fun. That the only thing I don't like is the pad shouting at you as you're playing all the time. I
hate that. Yeah,
Sackboy. It's brr, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm just sat here.
I was going to say Sackboy was really good, but I remember it hitting a really massive difficulty spike. sort of towards the end. It's like, holy shit, I need like my 10-year-old reflexes back here. My old ass ain't doing this, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not that far, so at the moment I'm just sort of like strolling through it. Obviously, there's a couple of levels I've got to go back and replay to find out. There's like secret collectibles, these like orbs you can get in each level, so I want to go back and get them, but they only unlock costumes, and they keep giving out tons and tons of DLC. Like literally, since I last played, there was 2 more costumes released for free. So I keep downloading them because I'm a sucker. Little Big Planet on the PS3, I bought like so many DLC packs to have all the stupid, the Marvel costumes, the Muppet costumes, everything costumes, like an idiot. Because I was like, oh, I need to have all these cool Sackboy costumes. And luckily on this game, it's free. But yeah, quite liking it. It's a fun little platformer, and it's
Nice.
multiplayer, I believe, as well. I've not played it multiplayer, but apparently you can play it co-op as well, which is quite cool. So
Yeah, it's decent co-op, but the problem is that if there's a big skill gulf, one of them then kind of drags it, but it can get a little bit awkward at times.
So don't play with little kids who don't know how to play games, is what you're saying.
Unless you put it right in. Like, I'm assuming obviously there's a really, really story difficulty. Maybe stick it on that, I don't know. But yeah, it's not that easy playing co-op.
Right. Oh, well, I'm glad I haven't. But single player, I've quite enjoyed it. And other than that, it's just been odd little games I've been picking up and playing here and there. I haven't played a lot of that. Like, if I've played it for a review, you'll see the review videos up. I don't want to sort of go into it too much. I've got one I have been playing that I was on embargo till today, which is that Ravenlock, which comes to Game Pass tomorrow, I believe.
Oh yeah.
I'll not go in about it too much here because it's a Game Pass sort of exclusive, I believe. I don't know if it's coming to PlayStation, but as well. But it's a fun little game, sort of like a different take on like Alice in Wonderland as such. But yeah, quite nice. Looks beautiful. Like the graphics are, like the art style is fantastic. It's a really nice looking indie game. But I've seen hit and miss reviews coming out today. Mine will not come out till tomorrow, I don't think. I'll not have time to finish it till then. But I've seen a lot of hit and miss reviews, some giving it 9s out of 10 and some giving it like 5s out of 10. So it's one of those Marmite games.
Yeah, it's sitting with like a 64 or 65, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Like I say, I would definitely recommend it if you've got Game Pass, giving it a try, or if it does come to any other services, try it there. But yeah, and other than that, I tried Redfall as well, but I had an all right experience with Redfall. I quite enjoyed it, so I'll have fun sort of arguing with you tomorrow on that, Sentinel.
Definitely, and it's like we go back and forth about a lot of these issues.
Oh yeah,
but it's all good.
Got issues. I'm not saying it's perfect and it's like a 9 out of 10 game, but it's nowhere near like a 2 out of 10 and a 4 out of 10. Like it's definitely a game you need to play with friends. It's like playing Sea of Thieves solo. It's such a bad experience. You play it with friends and it's different. To me, it felt like an open world Left 4 Dead, and Left 4 Dead sucked on your own. Left 4 Dead is only fun when you're like a group of you.
Well, and some of these games are built like that just because they're like, oh, look, you can play with friends. You can play with friends. Yeah. And it's like not every experience needs to be 4-player co-op. It's like it's great that you have that type of stuff, and I appreciate that, but not every game needs to have that in it.
Yeah, oh, no, I 100% agree with you there. But so far, I've not played a lot of it because I was playing it and I was like, I'd enjoy this more with a group or someone else. So I'll wait and see till I get a game. Like I said, me and Fabio are about playing it tomorrow after the show, and I'll possibly play a bit more then. But I thought it looked all right. It's not mind blowing, but it's an art style. It's got its own style of things. So
yeah,
yeah. But other than that, that's about it. So we'll start jumping into some topics. There isn't a huge amount today, so I'll just get them up in front. Apologies for this super sort of last minute, but we only found out a little bit ago that it'd be me hosting. So
yeah, normally it's BMG that hosts, and he has a poem to Jim Ryan and all kinds of other crazy stuff going on. So he's usually running it like a champ, but unfortunately he had real world issues. So
I couldn't bring myself to do a poem and sing and. Not about PlayStation and Jim Ryan.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, check out on the XBN channel the poem to Jim Ryan. that BMG
I
read
did it as a short.
It's getting hundreds of views.
Subscribers when it went up, though. It was funny. I put it up as a short, and we lost about 3 subs that day.
Oh. So I guess not everybody was a fan of it.
Now, though, so big thank you to everyone.
Nice.
So, before we get into like the full-on gaming news, I just want to shout out to the there's a Outright Games, as you know, our channel is an ambassador. Myself is an ambassador to Outright Games. They do a ton of sort of licensed kids games and stuff like that. They they've partnered with UNICEF, and they're doing throughout the year from now till the end of the year. They're doing a variety of special like discounted bundles of their games. And all of the sort of profits from these, like all the money from them, is going to UNICEF, and they're aiming to raise over £200,000 this year for it. So the first bundle is a Hasbro Kids bundle. It's available on PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch, and it includes Transformers Battlegrounds, My Friend Peppa Pig, and PJ Masks Heroes of the Night. Now, to buy all those games separately, they're normally about £20 to sort of £35 each, so you're getting a very good deal there. And it's a great bundle for charity, so it's only available until May the 12th. There will be other bundles with different games in at a later date, but this one is available right now: PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, online only, digital only. And yeah, check out their website as well for more details. But I like to promote all of the sort of charitable things we're like involved in, like say. One of the things we're doing with them is this, as like to promote it for them. So yeah, looking forward to it, and I look forward to sort of seeing what else they do later in the year. Now, first PlayStation topic. We'll start off with a negative one. I was saving this for BMG, but he's not here, so we'll get it out of the way. There's been some articles online basically saying the new sort of like $70 price point may be negatively impacting PS5 game unit sales. So reports are indicating that PlayStation users are buying less games, and Sony's data suggests that higher costs are a reason why unit sales have dropped. Now, obviously, this isn't a super negative thing overall because they have just had an amazing month, which we'll talk about shortly and stuff like that. But it is sort of the opposite. So they've had a great sort of like an amazing sort of run of months of selling units, hardware, but the software isn't selling as much. Now, what do you guys think of that? Because like it kind of makes sense. Like you put the price up on games, games are going to sell less because people haven't got as much money, especially in this sort of tough time.
Well, for me, I disagree with the negativity on this because I feel as though people have got short memories in that 3 years ago we had a thing called COVID and we had a thing called lockdown. And in that lockdown, we saw a dramatic spike in game sales across the board. PlayStation's game sales in the lockdown year went from around 260 million to 339. You saw a 60 million spike. Now, that spike has to come down. That's the way sales work. Unnatural spikes have to drift back down and flatten off. And for me, that is what we're seeing. We're seeing that reduction from that massive spike. You'll never continue to grow at that rate. It's just not how it works. But I think for me, the thing as well is if you look at the figures that Sony released last week, the key thing for PlayStation is that the first-party sales, the actual first-party unit numbers, were exactly the same. There was a 400,000 difference. So essentially, PlayStation are selling as many of the important titles which are first-party, because if they're digital, which 70% of sales are, that's 100% profit. The reduction this year was third party, pure and simple. So you've got to ask yourself, well, how many third party games came out? Is it like for like, year on year? There's many factors in why third party sales reduce. But ultimately for me, is it's still coming down from that peak from lockdown, and where it is sitting is kind of where it probably should be. The interesting question will be is...
it's slightly higher than what it was in 2019 now. just
Yeah.
slightly higher, isn't it? If I remember,
Yeah.
when I looked at it this morning, it was anyway.
It's certainly much and such anyway. It's back to not pre-COVID levels. The big question is where is it going to be in 12 months' time? Because in 12 months' time, you're going to have another 25 million PlayStation 5s. And yeah, a lot of those will be PS4 owners, making the upgrade. So you're not going to see an increase in game sales, you wouldn't think. But throwing in the fact you've then got PS5 owners getting access to a very good PlayStation Plus system. It's got enough games on there for new owners to last them fucking 18 months if they need to. So it's a very, very difficult one. But for me, people have been really harsh on the unit sales. 12 months' time could be a different conversation.
Oh, yeah, agreed. And like I say as well, as long as it doesn't sort of slump, everyone does forget that there was a massive COVID spike. It happened everywhere. It happened in subscription services for TV as well, like Netflix and everyone. Like Netflix reported its first losses, didn't it? Like of subscribers, but that's because everyone went back to work. And looking at it, like I say, money-wise, they're not really losing out. So even if they were selling less, like they're not hurting the bottom dollar, really, are they? In the end,
yeah. Well, if every single financial marker this year went up, so hardware, actual software sales, network sales, everything as a dollar or yen rate all went up. So yeah, from if you're Jim Ryan's accountant, you're pretty fucking happy right now because a nice bonus coming at the end of the year, aren't you? So he's pretty happy. And like I said, if your first party sales are exactly the same, literally 400,000 out with that extra $10, yeah, you're happy. You're more than happy.
Yeah. The only thing I thought was slightly concerning, and it's not even slightly concerning, like it's just the only thing that stands out when you look at all those figures they released, was the network services stuff, because that hasn't risen very much to say there's been a huge amount more consoles sold. Now, obviously, a lot of people probably just upgraded their PS4s to PS5s. I'm assuming a good chunk of them are that. But PlayStation Plus are sort of, it seems to have hit like a slight barrier around the 48, 47 sort of million subscribers. It's been at that for ages, and they don't seem to be going any higher. So it's like, even when they released the new PS Plus models, it didn't seem to have a massive jump in sort of the amount you would expect. I would have expected it to have a bigger effect. But it's not going to cause havoc. It's not the doom and gloom. It's not going to end PlayStation or anything like that. It's just it's interesting to see how those numbers have sort of peaked. And I think that's the problem with console gaming in general. The whole market isn't growing. Whether people want to admit it or not, console gaming has stagnated in sort of size. It never grows. It's like it sort of stays the same every year. Like maybe some people stop playing because they're getting too old or some other reason, but then a couple of new people come in and it just sort of, it's like an endless loop. It never seems to grow, which is odd when you think about it.
Well, I mean, certainly in the UK, it's grown from a sort of £3 billion industry 10 years ago to $6 billion. So I mean, there is obviously growth somewhere, and gamers are getting older. So presumably people are playing into their older age. But we're kind of in that bubble at the moment where, in theory, we're kind of coming to the end of the console generation in the next decade as we know it, and then you're then going to have this switch onto cloud gaming, and that's where obviously things could be very, very different, and you're then going to potentially attract a whole new raft of people, particularly people who, if you look at mobile gamers, for example, far dwarf console. You start getting massive games on a handheld, and suddenly it could change. It could change everything. We just don't know. That's the thing.
Yeah, agreed. What do you think, Sentinel?
I think the entire. There's so many different factors involved. We had the COVID lockdowns. You had everybody basically trying to upgrade as fast as they could because some of these games were touted as, they're touted as next gen, but they're not really. You look at Godfall, now it's on PS4. It's just it's hard because this generation is kind of different than any other generation we've ever seen. Because we haven't really had shortages, in the past. to adversely affect, we haven't had to worry about like scalpers, people getting their consoles through scalpers, and I mean, you could say that PS5s will sell more than they ever have before, but Donnie's right about this possibly being the last console generation. You look at smart TVs that are now able to stream video games through them. Why buy a PS5 or a PS6, excuse me, or an Xbox Series Z or whatever the hell they call it, if you can stream all of that through your TV that's going to come from the factory equipped to play that stuff?
Yeah. I'm still, fingers crossed, hoping we eventually get modular consoles where you can just pull out. They're like PCs. You upgrade them every couple, like 5 years or 6 years or something.
Yeah. Well, I think that's PCs. I mean,
it's so you still got your box, but at the back you can literally just pull some out and put some in, and it'll upgrade it. So it's like a layman's PC, basically. It's exactly like what consoles are, but you start to add that sort of. So like when you got the N64 the pack for the N64, the memory pack.
The expansion,
like
the expansion or whatever it's called, the expansion drive.
The thing you stuck in so you could play like
Perfect Dark,
Perfect Dark and everything better. Yeah. I'd love to see something like that come to console, so I don't have to buy a new box.
Yeah,
I don't have to convert and transfer. I mean, luckily the cloud and everything's here, which means everything's super quick and easy to transfer over and stuff like that.
Well, and something we're seeing with this generation is it's having tremendous growing pains. When I say that, I mean you have on the box on both the PS5 and the Series X, they're saying, 4K at 120 or 8K at this, and it's like, stop, you guys. It's like you guys are struggling to get games at 30 frames per second. I'm not saying PlayStation is, but like a lot of these third-party companies are like, like you look at Gotham Knights, 30 frames per second. It's like, why are you worried about 4K if you can't even hit 60 frames per second? So a lot of these studios are really having growing pains with this new technology it's capable, but they're not capable. That's the problem, and it's just the whole situation is it's compounded by a lot of these publishers not wanting to spend any more money than they have to. They want to work these employees as much as they can, but it's like you have to provide more staff in order to, if there's more to the game, you're going to have to provide more people. That's just how it is. You got more complex stuff, you're going to have to provide more people. You can't do 4K 60 frames per second with ray tracing with the same amount of staff in a 5-year period for a game that you did 7 or 8 years ago with the same amount of staff doing 30 frames per second at 1080p or 4K upscaled. You just can't do it. So, it's this growing pain that we're going through. I'm afraid of where it's going because I don't want games as a service or live service games to become the norm, and for standalone games that are good and ready to go at launch to be the rarity. I don't want that to be the case, but everything we've seen, I mean, that's the way it's leaning. Just because, and it's not that these developers can't rise to the occasion, but it's management's fault, number one, and number two, there's just not enough staff. These publishers have to invest more money into hiring more people that are qualified so that they can help to lessen this, and it's not just Xbox that had to go through this. You look at Forspoken. Yes, it's a third-party title, but I believe that if Square Enix would have invested in more staff, that Forspoken would have been in much better shape than it was.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think in terms of live service, in terms of live service, I think you're right. But there's definitely a future for both. Herman Hall said that this week. There's a future for both, and we get that. PlayStation as an example, I've got 12 live service games in the works. So it's here to stay, whether we like it or not. And out of those 12, we're going to get a range of hopefully some excellent ones. We're going to get some middling ones, and we're going to get some utter nonsense ones that no one touches. Our Babylon's Fall. It's the thing is it's where the money is, it's where the player base is, and it's where your everyone talks about MAUs, monthly average users these days. It's where your MAUs come from as well. The more people playing every day and every month keeps those figures up, and it keeps the shareholders happy, and that's the bottom line, isn't it? But as long as we continue, like you said, to get both, I'm happy with that. And it looks as though, again, certainly from PlayStation's point of view, they're investing in the right places, the right developers, their own studios. And hopefully we don't see a detrimental effect on the single player games that we all love. The reason we all own PlayStation is for those games. So as long as we get both, fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine. No issue
Not
with
every
that
game can be a cracker, though. It's horrible to say.
It won't be. It won't be. Out of those 12 live service games, you'll be lucky if 2 of them are long lasting. Lucky if it's 2. They're almost kind of going for a bit of a scattergun approach, because 12 is a lot. No matter how you look at it, that is a lot of live service games. And yeah, again, Herman Hall said this week, they're all ranging in size and they're all ranging in what they're about. They're not all first person shooters.
Yeah,
you know,
different genres, aren't they?
Yeah. And I've said this 100 times, but I fully believe one of those games is Killzone. I would be shocked if one of those games is not Killzone. Why would you make 12 new IPs when you have a great IP sitting in the shadows that needs a reboot, and there's a perfect time to do it? You get Killzone out there, and every PlayStation fan goes, holy crap, I want a piece of that.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm still hoping that we get like a Little Big Planet live service game. That's, to me, like dreams. They'd let dreams die, but let Little Big Planet reborn from the ashes. That's what I want.
Yeah, the thing is, there's so
live service
many.
game. It had so much DLC. It would work as like a live service game, in my opinion. But if you do it right, but
yeah.
We will
that's the thing. There's so many. Like even Xbox has got every company. Nintendo, we've all got a huge backlog of deceased IP that it's not hard to bring back. SOCOM could come back. Resistance could come back. There's potentially 3 of those 12. I don't think SOCOM will be one. I think that's an outside chance. I think Killzone is definitely more likely. But there's plenty of opportunities there.
Yeah.
BMG's in the chat saying Killzone's never been a great IP. Killzone was a great IP. You stand down. That's a
right. Let's get our other guest in here. Hang on a second. Let me get him on.
Hey, thanks for having me. Can you hear me?
Hello, how's it going, mate?
Good.
How we doing?
Yeah, not bad. You haven't missed too much. We're just talking about the live service games coming from PlayStation at the moment.
Yeah, there's a lot coming for sure.
It's going to be good. So for everyone who doesn't know, Matthew Kelly is the dev of Let's Pet Pets, which I've streamed a couple of times on the channel already. If you haven't watched them, you can find them, like I say, on the live stream section of our channel. It's a extremely fun sort of idle game where you hatch a load of eggs and build this like little town up and get more eggs and get loads and loads of animals. And I've been renaming them all after people who are members of this channel and people who watch the channel. And yeah,
no,
we had a good laugh. Petting Red for about an hour to get as many hearts from him as possible. Bless him.
Right. Very nice.
So, definitely check it out.
Thanks for the shout out.
No worries. Right, let's jump into another topic quickly. What's BMG left for us? So, this is one I think you mentioned a bit back, Sentinel. Twisted Metal. It's had its first teaser trailer. It's coming to Peacock this July. The teaser trailer came out the other day. It's coming out July 27th. And I thought it looked okay. I thought the right at the end where you see Samoa Joe as the clown guy. I can never remember his name. But yeah, he looked really cool. And like, if they do it right, it could work. I'm not sure how you translate it into a TV show as such. I'm assuming it'll be like, oh, we've got some sort of competition we all have to enter and stuff like that. So, what did you think, Sentinel Sinners? Like, I'm sure you said you were a fan of it.
Yes, definitely. Sorry, I was reading the comments. It's I can't believe BMG and UK Dazarus are duking out in the comments. So I was just like,
To be
wow,
fair, right? I hate to say, I hate to give BMG a win, but the Saturn isn't better than a PlayStation.
Yeah, the Saturn has like what 12 processors. I mean, it's like catches
You know
on,
what?
half the units probably catch
better
on fire now. It's
PlayStation
ridiculous.
In the way that it's a good doorstop, like it's a much better doorstop than PlayStation console. Like,
oh Jesus!
you want to block the draft, you put your Sega Saturn there in front of the bottom of your door. So
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I got distracted. Blame BMG and UK Dazarus. What was the topic? What was the topic so I can give a proper,
How dare you, sir? How
I
dare
know,
you?
I know.
When you're playing Harry Potter on Xbox all week, blaming it on your daughter.
Yeah,
you
right.
Say, I am not PlayStation. I've done so many PlayStation streams.
At like 3 a.m, he's playing it, and it's like, what?
That's what I mean.
Yep. Okay, no. So what was the topic before I get distracted by BMG?
The Twisted Metal teaser trailer.
I mean, I think it looks top notch. The guy from I don't remember the name of the actor. He played Falcon in the Winter Soldier, right?
Anthony Mackie, yeah.
Yeah, him. Having him attached is a win because I think that guy is a great actor. I'm a big fan.
I agree. Yeah, I'm the same.
And it's like he's one of those guys coming up in Hollywood that has solid acting chops, and I think he's going to do great. I also think that PlayStation is going to shadow drop the Twisted Metal reboot. I swear it. I swear they're going to do it because if we argue about this all the time on PSN Party Podcast and of course Xbox Live Party Podcast about Jim Ryan, about how he's a businessman, right? He's not a gamer like Phil. But if there's one thing Jim Ryan knows, it's how to make money. Now, Twisted Metal is a legacy franchise for PlayStation. A lot of people have been calling for it. Bring it back, right? Jim Ryan hears this shit. Even though he may not understand why they want it back, he understands that they want it back. Just like how he had Naughty Dog remaster the PS5, or remaster The Last of Us for PS5, even though they had a PS4 remaster, or it's a remake, I guess, technically. And so, Jim Ryan understands that people are going to buy this type of stuff. And everyone's been calling for Twisted Metal. They now have a Peacock series for Twisted Metal that has Hollywood actors in it. Like, not these direct-to-video actors. I'm talking quality actors in it. They're going to want to throw as much weight behind it as they can. And the perfect way to do that is a Twisted Metal complete reboot that's AAA that they've been keeping quiet this entire time because they wanted to be a surprise. Because Hi-Fi Rush was not a AAA game, but it shadow dropped. It was great. Tons of people liked it. Imagine if a high-quality AAA Twisted Metal reboot shadow drops on the same day that PlayStation does their showcase. That would be crazy.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think it could potentially be a live service game. It's not just going to be a one and done. I think it's a game that if they do it right, it could actually last, not the test of time, obviously, but it's not going to just be over in a flash. I think you have a point. Sony and PlayStation, but Sony's all about this network of all this entertainment all working together.
Yeah,
and they get it because the links work, and you release one, you release a bit of parity next to each other, and it all works. It all makes money. Look at The Last of Us Part 1 sales spike because of the shows.
Yes, like 300%.
It's and that's again, most of that would be full retail digital downloads with pure profit. It's just they know it works, and I think you're right, and that's why obviously you've got Horizon live service game coming, the Horizon Zero Dawn remake, the third game, and a TV show which no one asked for or wanted, by the way.
Jesus. BMG just fell out of his chair.
See, I'm not an anime fan, but see if it was anime, I think it'd be awesome. A bit like Cyberpunk. I think it would work. I just don't feel that it's going to work in any kind of live format at all. Right. Unless it's getting an astronomical budget. We're talking like HBO budget, then maybe. Without that, I just don't see how it works. It's $2,000. It's too big.
I think, you know what? And I think, what was that cyberpunk cartoon that was like anime?
Edge
Yeah, it
Runners.
was called Edge.
Yeah,
It is.
Edge Runners that brought so much interest back. I completely agree that if they had something kind of like that for Horizon rather than a live action television show or whatever, that it would be tremendously popular. You know, everything doesn't have to be live action. It can be anime like that. And you're exactly right. It's going to draw a lot of people in, and it's going to be a well-received product.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the anime was better than the game was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people said, yeah.
I bought the game. I got it on like super sale. I got it for like a tenner, and I'd never played it. And I had no interest in playing it. I bought it, and I was like, I want it in my collection.
Yeah,
Because Keanu Reeves was in it. And then I watched Edge Runners. I was like, I need to play this. So
Yeah.
I installed it.
Yeah, Cyberpunk with the next gen patch is tremendous. I picked it up for £5 on Facebook Marketplace. It's great, you know, and it's a really good game. Now that it's fixed, I might add, don't touch that on PS4, please. No one do that.
Right.
I agree with him that Sony does have a monopoly on anime, but no one cares, obviously. It's only anime. It's only those weebs that are complaining.
Yeah, you know what? I would say that was an issue if Xbox was trying to get into it, but they're not. They're not even messing with it. They're busy making, you know, Xbox-themed Oreos and hand warmers and, you know, mud flaps for your tires. And it's like, come on, Xbox, what the fuck are you doing? I'm sorry.
And 135 new controllers as well.
There you go. At least PlayStation is tracking what people want.
I mean, I love an Xbox pad, but we don't need 6 in a week. They had the 5 Redfall, and then they showed off like Sunrise Melon or something yesterday or the other day. And I was like,
Get bored, and that's all they can do is make them do controllers.
That's it. I mean, they make a great. I love the Series X controller. I apologize, guys. I like it more than the DualSense. I think the DualSense has better features in some aspects, but in comfort, the Xbox pad is comfier for me.
I'm taking away your pets because you said that.
I agree. I think you should take away his microphone for saying that. Never mind his pets.
Don't make me go power mad. I'll start muting you all. It's fine. BMG's still sending us topics as I'm talking. So
yeah. Go. Ash is kind of like the Vince McMahon, you know, of XBN. So he'll be
without
like
the sexual harassment.
Yeah, there you go.
And steroids.
There are some differences. I haven't got a little mustache either at the moment.
Doesn't the Xbox controller still use batteries? Like, what year is it?
So?
Dude. Bro.
I just buy. I've got like the Amazon like essential batteries. They come like every sort of like 4 months. I get like a pack and they last me till then.
Does your laptop take batteries too, or no?
No, thank God. My PS5 controller just doesn't last.
Like, you know what though? You know what about laptop batteries? I actually did have to replace my son's laptop battery because it finally gave out. So I mean, you know,
Amazon Basics though. Like imagine you have to bust out like a 12-pack of
Amazon Basic, you put it in and it would last about 5 seconds and explode.
Yeah. You know, I would.
Batteries on way out at the moment. Like, if I unplug my battery and I do anything but like browse the internet, it runs out of battery in about 45 minutes. It's sad.
Jesus.
But it's about 4 years old now. But if you plug your laptop in a lot, like I have it just plugged in when I'm using it, it just wrecks your battery. And I've got one of those like Razer laptops where you can't get the battery's not like separate. You can't like unclip it like you used to be able to on old like other laptops where you could take the battery out and use it without the battery.
Yeah.
Oh God, BMG, stop spamming us in Discord. Give us some good topics. Now we'll talk about this one though. They have announced that Spider-Man Remastered is finally getting a standalone release, which is good. It should have been a long time coming. And also, a free Spider-Man 2 prequel comic is coming as well in the US. So, for players who don't own the Miles Morales Ultimate Edition, which got you the remastered Spider-Man included, you can now buy it for $49.99, which is shocking for the prices. for a bargain. But if you do own Spider-Man on PS4, you can upgrade it for $10 to the PS5 version.
There you go. That's better.
But then stingy Jim Ryan went, well, if you got it with your PS Plus membership, you can't just give us £10 for nothing. No, you have to go out and buy that game and then upgrade it as well. So,
of course. Wow.
That's the Sony tax we all love.
Yeah, dude, that's the way.
I honestly think though the reason they've done that is it might be leaving it soon and the service, because there was rumors it was only for so long. So instead of putting that $10 upgrade on and then you'd lose access to it because it leaves PlayStation Plus, they're just like, no, you've just got to buy it. I would hope that's the case, but I feel like maybe it's just, no, we want you to buy this game in full price. Because they did it with Final Fantasy as well, didn't they? You got a free copy of Final Fantasy 7 and you couldn't upgrade it for the $10. You had to go and buy the full game. Which
you
is
had to buy the full thing. It was ridiculous.
That's one thing I like about Xbox. Like with some of with Redfall and Forza and stuff, they do you can buy the Ultimate editions for the extra cost, like the $10 to $20, whatever it is, the difference. And if it ever leaves Game Pass, you could then just buy the game, but you can play it straight away. I did it with Forza Horizon 5 and 4, paid the extra just to get the Ultimate, to get all the DLCs and everything, and then I get the game on sale a year later when it's super cheap, because then I own it and I don't have to worry about it. So,
but at the same time,
calling you out as well in calling out PlayStation in the chat, look.
Wow, Dimber, you're going to get banned from the PlayStation podcast. I'm just saying.
Wow, just encouraging you for posting on me.
Right.
Have any of you guys played the remaster Spider-Man? I've got it. I got the Miles Morales Ultimate Edition for that because I thought that for the extra cost it was worth it. But then I played Miles and I haven't played the remaster yet. It's sat installed, but it's one of those I've already played it once. I'll get to the remaster when I get to it, basically.
Yeah, I re-platinumed it. It was tremendous on the PS5. I must say, it was so good. And Miles was great as well, to be fair. So I'm super excited for 2.
So good. That was my first HDR game. It blew my mind. Loved it.
Nice.
Now I feel ashamed because I platinumed the PS4 Spider-Man, but not PS5 version. Oh.
Shame on you. Shame.
I know, right? I don't know. I might go back and play it. Who knows?
I might play it before when they announce Spider-Man 2's release date. I might blitz through it again and sort of start to finish. Maybe not do all the side quests and stuff, but just play the story again to sort of catch up. And
you say you will, right? But between now and September, the amount of games coming out, it's just, it's no. I know you've got the intention to, but none of us will.
No. You should see my backlog at the moment. My actual owned backlog is in the hundreds, and then I've got about 22. I'm playing or streaming for reviews or for streaming and stuff that they keep sending me. So my backlog just never ends. I finally got it right down. Then I checked my emails and I had 18 codes sent. I was like, oh my god, it's never stopping. So,
poor you have too many games to play. That sucks.
I know, right?
Hard life, isn't it? I'm at that stage in life though where I have I can afford to buy whatever game I want. I just don't have the time to play any of them. So now I'm just sort of I've been a bit more picky and choosing recently. Let's say the only games I've really bought recently are Evercade cartridges because I like to own them physically. But everything else now, unless it's something I'm desperate to play, I really want to play. I got Hogwarts day one because I love the franchise. I was I really want to play that. I might pick up Gollum day one because I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, but it just doesn't look good. But I'm but I want to see it from Gollum's side, but I don't want to pay that. So maybe if I can get it on sale quick. I think it's going to be one of those games that goes on sale within the first month. But other than that, I just wait and pick stuff up in the sale, or if I see something that's I'll be in a game shop and I'm oh, that's a bargain, I'll pick it up, even if I desperately need it. I did that with Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I've been quite enjoying that. That's quite a fun game.
You know, the problem a lot of these developers are running into is we have a lot of choice now, and these consoles, both the PS5 and the Xbox Series consoles, are backwards compatible. So if one of these systems, like you got Forspoken or you got Redfall, if it drops and it doesn't immediately impress people, people will just be like, I'll just go back and play something that I loved last generation. So it's kind of up the stakes having backwards compatible as part of these consoles for a lot of these studios, because it's like, you know, like with Cyberpunk, a lot of people played it, and if you weren't impressed, you just walked away, and that tremendously hurt the studio. So a lot of these studios got to get it right, because we have, so like you said, you got hundreds of games that you have to play, and you know, you have all these games from last generation. Hell, with Xbox, you know, it could be from the Xbox 360 generation that you've just never played, but it's a great game. You're like, why am I going to waste time with this when I just go tackle some on my backlog?
Yeah,
you know,
we've actually got two. Yeah, I was gonna say we've actually got too many games. That's the thing. You know, in the last few weeks, you know, the Final Fantasy Pixel remaster came out. Now, I would love to go through all those. I'd love to play Final Fantasy 6 at the moment, but I just can't. There's not enough hours in the day. And like, even like, I look at next month, Diablo 4 is coming out a couple of weeks before Final Fantasy 16. When am I getting enough time to put in serious shift into Diablo 4 before Final Fantasy 16? And then straight after that, you just got game after game after, and it's just, there's so much choice that people can be choosy and people can wait, and then people can go, well, do you know what, I'm going to pick it up secondhand or pick it up in the sale, and it's just this kind of snowball effect. But what I would say is at least gamer numbers are growing, at least, so I suppose it kind of counteracts it.
But I got sent the Pixel remaster, and then like 2-3 days later, they released Live Alive, a remaster as well, Square Enix, which is another JRPG. I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to play 6 Final Fantasy games and another fucking JRPG in like 1 week? Like, it didn't make sense. And also, why is everyone playing Final Fantasy 6? Is it the best one? I've never played 1 to 6, so I streamed 1 a bit when I got it, and I was going to go through them in order, but everyone on social media seems to be talking about 6.
Out of the first 6, it's universally the best and universally accepted out of the first 6. I don't think it's the best. I think 7 is in 10, but 6 out of those early ones, absolutely.
They're just classics. If you grew up playing those, playing them again, you know, something else. But I would have a hard time playing those now if you never played them before. I don't know how well they would age.
They've aged like milk in a warm cupboard. Do you know what? They look fantastic and the music is great, but Final Fantasy 1 is super limited. It's very repetitive. Like, it's simple. Like, it doesn't have all the tropes that the series ended up getting, and which is a shame. But I love playing retro and playing retro I haven't played. But I say that though, I'd rather play them than Final Fantasy 7 because Final Fantasy 7's overrated. Just saying. Put it out there.
Whoa.
It's 10 and 7 and 9.
Hang on here. We got a problem. We got a big problem.
7 is so overrated. Like, we should have got a Final Fantasy 9 remake because Final Fantasy 9 is amazing. It has that like steampunky aesthetic to it. Great characters. Final Fantasy 7. It's just,
I'd be shocked if 9 doesn't get remade at some point.
Oh, I think they're going to remake them all. It's like Resident Evil. We're gonna get Final Fantasy 16, and we've got a couple of years more of Final Fantasy 7 remakes. Then they'll do Final Fantasy 9. Then they'll probably do 8, and then by then they can do 10, and then we'll probably have a Kingdom Hearts remake. The remake train is flowing.
Yeah, speaking of not enough time to play all these games, like all these remakes coming out, not only do you have to worry about playing the new games, but now you got to go back, play the old games too.
That's it. It just never stops. But I tell you who isn't, amazing segue, playing Final Fantasy 16. Saudi Arabia isn't playing Final Fantasy 16, so they don't have to worry about that because the Saudi Arabian Public Authority for Media has taken to Twitter to announce that Final Fantasy 16 will not be released in Saudi Arabia due to the publisher's unwillingness to make necessary modifications. So that probably means there's too much flesh on the female characters or something like that. So,
or gay characters maybe.
there'll be gays, transsexual characters. Could be possible alcohol references. It could be anything.
Oh my god.
Yeah. My family lived in Saudi Arabia for 10 years, and all I'll say is, the Saudi Wealth Fund is investing heavily in the world of gaming, including Nintendo. Be careful what you wish for, people, with these investments. Banning that does not surprise me. This is, watch the space the next 10, 15 years when some questionable countries start investing in our games. Because we've seen it in movies already.
Everyone's moaned about Microsoft buying Activision and stuff. No one cared when, and like there was the furor over J.K. Rowling, and rightly so, J.K. Rowling's comments. But no one batted an eyelid when Saudi Arabia upped their stake in Nintendo. Like, no one cared. It's like, Saudis have done some shit. Like,
but you have to
and shit.
They're not going to want to lose all their money. They're going to look at what works in some of these markets. And in their own country, they may say, hey, this can't be in the game or that can't be in the game. But the video game market is more volatile than the stock market. I mean, it's crazy. You can have someone invest $500 million into a studio and lose all of that with the release of one game. So it's extremely fickle. You really got to be careful with it. And I feel like these guys, these Saudis that are investing, they're savvy businessmen, and they know that they know that their standards aren't the standards for the rest of the world. So if they produce a game with their standards but try to sell it to the rest of the world, it's gonna crash. Like a plane that just got shot down.
I doubt that's going to happen. It's more the fact that they've people, there's this furor online of you cancelling people and stuff, and rightly so for some people that shit needs to be done. But there's silence when it comes to Saudi Arabia buying up things.
They don't want to be bought and fired.
That's it. It's more of the censoring.
I don't understand that. Like, when did countries start investing in these companies that have nothing to do with that country? It's just so weird to me. So dystopian.
They've got that much money. They need to make more money. So they're now
Well, is it the Saudi government, or is it a conglomerate of Saudi
government?
It's the Saudi government. That's interesting.
So weird.
Well, China was doing the same thing, though, weren't they?
Also weird. Like, I don't understand that. Like,
China does it inadvertently through Tencent, obviously, because it's partly state owned, which obviously is another one as well. We need to be careful of, not in any kind of political way, but I just don't want it. For me, I just don't want to see censoring. We've already seen it in movies. We all know the rumors about Star Wars, about Finn's character, about censoring in China. That's what I don't want to see. Yeah. And my worry is that it's not about Sentinel. You mentioned about their views in the game. It's not that. It's about picking and choosing. Okay, well, we don't want to have a black male protagonist because we don't agree with that over here, or that character can't be gay because that goes against. So they can still make the same game, but they don't want. They want to sort of censor those areas. That's a bit I don't like, because you're losing that freedom of expression that developers want to do.
Yeah. Well, and developers are going to have to decide whether they want to work for a studio that's owned by people that are going to censor like that. I mean, it's not every gaming studio is going to be owned by these guys, at least not yet. But
Tencent's doing a lot of work anyway.
Well, and you look at Amy Hennig. She went from Naughty Dog. Of course, rumors there were behind the scenes clashes between her and Neil Druckmann regarding what the vision was they wanted for Uncharted. The vision that she had, they eventually scrapped. She went to Electronic Arts. Everyone was like, yes, she's making a Star Wars game. And Andrew Wilson, being the fuckhead that he is, came in, looked at it for 2 minutes and said, no, I'm good. I'm not even interested. And she left, and she became... she opened her own gaming studio, and you're seeing a lot of talented people. You look at Dan Houser from Rockstar Games. Everything went to shit at Rockstar Games, and he leaves and opens his own gaming studio. I think a lot of the quality games you're going to see in the future may not come from big publishers, but it may come from independent gaming studios, just because they have that freedom.
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah. and they're all getting well financially backed as well. And that's the thing. These guys aren't making games for $5 million. They're making them for 250 in some cases, whatever. But you're right. The one thing at the moment is that everyone complains about is that there's a lack of developers and good experienced ones. And you're right, is that if they don't want to work for that company, they'll get handed and near enough a blank check from anyone else. You telling me that someone who's worked for 15 years in the industry can't get a job for Bungie or for Insomniac or for anybody, Bethesda game work? It's of course they can. Experience at the moment, because again, there's so many games needing to be made to keep these consoles and keep these subscription services going. That devs are in hot demand and they're getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Well, yeah, because I think it's is it state of California, guys, where you have to disclose salaries for open jobs? Is that the state? I might be wrong there, but either way, whatever state it was, they were advertising for various developers, and the salaries were all between $130,000 and $180,000. So it's they are well paid now. They're in hot demand.
Well, yeah, but you got to understand, a place like California, their cost of living is insane, especially in places like LA.
California.
Yeah, and it's like, like whenever you travel with the Army, and I use this because it's relevant. They give you what's called a basic allowance for housing, so you can kind of see how much different cities are. And for a place like, you got a place like Marietta, Georgia, way out on the East Coast, the cost of living between there and California is 2 to 3 times as much, which is insane, So if you're making $40,000 a year in Marietta, Georgia, you're living nice. But if you move out to California and you're making $120,000, you might be living okay, but I mean, it fluctuates so much. Gas prices could go through the roof. So California is extremely crazy as far as the prices go. I got a cousin who lives out in San Diego, and he said, the cost from him living there versus when he lived in Houston was 2 to 3 times as much, and it takes both him and his wife working, whereas in Houston, he could work, his wife could stay at home with their kids, and it was no issue. So, that makes it hard for a lot of these developers.
Yeah, it is.
And it's because there's so much, I guess, there's so much fluctuation in so many different things out in California, even up in Washington State, because you got Xbox and a whole bunch of other companies based up there. I mean, these developers could be making, 6 figures, and anywhere else in the country they're living great. But out in where it costs you like $3,000 to have a decent apartment, I mean, it's gonna be hard for them.
It's true. Can't confirm it.
Yeah, so anytime I hear about developers getting laid off, especially in studios that are out on the West Coast, I'm like, oh, because that's going to hit them a lot harder, than anywhere else. But if they want to go and be independent developers, it's like a double-edged sword. You got to be rubbing elbows with people that are important in the gaming industry. So that's all on the West Coast, but a lot of the cost of living is going to necessitate you to move 2 or 3 hours away where you can actually afford to live and work independently and not be tied to a big studio or publisher. So
yeah, well, what's nice now is like I'm able to work from home. So I mean, technically I can live wherever I want and still make the same as I'm making now in California. So it's almost like kind of a hack. Like work in California but live somewhere else,
Right. That's nice. And it's like the lockdown saw a lot of people getting to work from home. Whereas before, it was a lot harder to find jobs like that.
Yeah, you used to have to drive an hour and a half one way to work, every day. So.
Jesus, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely nice being able to just get myself done from home and not have to drive.
Yeah, very nice.
What else has BMG been sharing with us?
I know. I see it. He's in the chat rapid firing.
If you are enjoying the show, guys, hit that like button. Hit subscribe. Like I say, we are slowly growing. So big thank you to everyone who subscribes. Check out the website, www.xpnnetwork.com, for sort of daily reviews and news and stuff. I've not been updating it as much as I really want to, but work's been kicking my ass this last couple of weeks. But soon there'll be a lot more content coming to the website. And also, you can become a channel member by clicking join, and it's 99p a month. You get access to a ton of members-only videos, as well as sort of we'll put out questions and stuff like that, asking you for ideas for future videos and stuff like that. And yeah, there's some weird and wonderful sort of videos there. And I put one up the other day watching the East Asia Soft showcase, which was a fun sort of 13 minutes. But yeah, big shout out to everyone in chat quickly. Daz for his terrible Saturn takes. May Suko, Thimba, we've got BMG, Nelson Gaming, Pixel Slapper. Have I missed anyone else? Everyone who's chatting at the moment, I've got to have a right scroll up. Oh, and everyone else I've missed, I apologise if I've missed someone. But yeah, big thank you to everyone in chat so far. Let's have a look what else we've got. Warning to all PS5 owners, if you haven't grabbed the free PS Plus collection games yet, you have only got till May the 9th. Now, the PS Plus collection offers, I believe, 19 sort of classic PS4 games, and you get them as long as you signed up to a tier of PS Plus, any tier. Now, you redeem them, and they're then on your account forever as long as you are subscribed to PS Plus. Now, there's a massive list of games here, some really good ones as well. You've got like Batman Arkham Knight, Battlefield 1, Bloodborne, Call of Duty, Black Ops 3, Crash Bandicoot, Insane Trilogy, Days Gone, Detroit Become Human, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15, God of War, Infamous Second Son, Monster Hunter World, Mortal Kombat 10, Ratchet and Clank, Resident Evil 7, Last Guardian, The Last of Us Remastered, Uncharted 4, and Until Dawn. Now, The Last of Us Remastered is the original Last of Us Remastered, not the remastered remaster. But still, go on, and all you have to do is add to your account. You don't have to download them and install them at this moment in time, but you've got to add them to your collection.
Such great games.
Yeah, there's some of the best PS4 games released on there. So, like God of War, you've got your Last of Us, Uncharted 4. Get them added to your account, because after May the 9th, they are gone, and they ain't coming back. So... Oh my god, the chat's just going. Saturn members only, Daz. No. Do you know what? I'll try and, if I can get a Saturn emulator working, I'll do some Saturn content for you, Daz. I'll be like, God, this plays like shit. God, I wish I was playing this on a PlayStation 1. That sort of stuff. You'd love it. Timber, nearly 4 months member. Thank you very much, mate. Nearly there. We've also changed the members badges. They were previously just like the little YouTube star things, but we've now put them into the little logo, so I hope you guys like them. We're only like 1 or 2 members away. I think it might only be 1 member away now. And once we hit that, I think we got to have like 1 or 2 more, and then it'll start showing them off, like spotlighting members on the main channel page. So when you come on YouTube, it'll be like spotlighting members. I think that's a really cool little thing YouTube does. So slowly but surely, we're going to hit that, and then it'll thank you guys even more. Right, what else has he sent us? We've done Twisted Metal. PSVR2 will soon be in stock at local retailers. So obviously it's previously been sort of online on PlayStation Store only. You had to sort of sign up originally, and then obviously it's now available. It's priced, the PSVR headset priced at $549.99, €599.99 and £529.99. And it's coming to local retailers. According to Very, which is a shop in the UK, it's saying May the 12th for the UK. Maybe different across the country, but May the 12th on Very. You can't pre-order them or anything yet, but there are actual PSVR2 games on there you can pick up. Have any of you guys played PSVR2 yet or own one?
No.
Yeah.
It's awesome. The only thing is like there's not enough games for it, man. Like all this cool technology in this headset and nowhere to go. It's like having a Ferrari and just only be able to take it in your driveway.
Yeah. What is it like? Because I wear glasses. What
Same.
is the space for glasses? Because like the PSVR1 it was okay for glasses, but it wasn't great.
No, I'd say it's a little bit better than the PSVR1, but definitely better than the Oculus as far as space goes.
Right. Oh, nice.
And what's nice too is even though I have glasses, like the eye tracking and stuff works perfect.
Nice.
I was kind of worried about that, but yeah, it's cool.
I think we talked about that several months ago. We actually brought that up on one of our shows, Matt, about how Sony had invested a lot of research and development into the PSVR2 because a big complaint was people who wore glasses with the original PSVR for PS4, and they wanted to avoid that. So Sony invested a lot of money into trying to fix that issue, and it's great to hear that it actually worked.
What's even better is on the PlayStation VR 1, my glasses would always fog up when I had the headset on. That's not the case anymore. I don't know how they did it, but yeah, it's great to be able to like see clearly without having your glasses fog up. It's the worst.
Money well spent.
Yeah, good job, Tony.
Yeah, I think they actually built in like, was it not like, I think there's literal vents, little fans inside it, isn't it? For that exact reason. I saw something about that, which is quite interesting.
This makes me more wanting to buy one now because like I had a PSVR one. I quite liked some of the games on it. There were some of them were a bit limited, but they were fun. But yeah, if you got slightly warm, which you would do when you're like moving around and stuff, you just ended up having to wipe your glasses like every 2 minutes. You just couldn't see.
Yeah, my only complaint with the PSVR 2 right now is that you pretty much have to play it with the lights on, which I don't know. I don't like having to turn on my lights every time I want to play it. I already have to strap the headset on my head, like get everything all set up, which luckily now it's just one cable. You plug in the front of your PlayStation and you're good. But having to have the lights all on, like, disturb the whole house, it's kind of
Definitely have to pick it up.
It's I think PlayStation could have done a lot better with this had they just had it in stores to begin with.
A lot of people said the same. That was a common complaint that it was only available on PlayStation Direct. So that there is speculation that this worldwide this wide availability will certainly help what has apparently been lackluster sales, depending on your perception of things. So it'll be interesting to see because there was very little mention of VR2 on the Sony sales figures. Granted, I know it's only been available for a quarter, but very little mention about it. So again, a bit like our game sales chat, 12 months time could be very, very interesting to see where that's suddenly lying in Sony's financials.
I wonder if it was a production issue. Like they did that because they were ramping up production and they didn't want another PS5 situation with bots just buying up all the stock.
Maybe.
Well, I don't know. I'm a bit more skeptical than you. I'm skeptical that when it's been bought from PlayStation Direct, it's 100% profit. You sell that through Amazon, it's 70% plus shipping.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you're right.
I think they knew that it wasn't going to be a massive seller, so I think the people who bought it, like I had it pre-ordered and I cancelled it just because I've not got enough time to play it. I really don't. I struggle to get enough hours. I'm lucky to play 30 hours a week, so I think the people who are going to buy this are going to be the hardcore VR, the hardcore gamers are going to buy this, and they're going to buy it whether it's in Amazon or whether it's in Asda or whether it's from us directly. So we might as well sell it ourselves and get 100% profit.
Yeah.
And then they'll filter it out to the people who maybe didn't want it to launch, maybe, getting slightly away from a cost of living crisis. And they just went, well, now we'll start catching those less hardcore ones, people that will see it on the shelves and go a bit more impulsive purchase, isn't it? So yeah, that's my skeptical view, knowing how Sony tax works, which we all love and like to pay.
I think you're right.
I'm definitely interested though, hearing all that about the glasses and stuff. It does make me more interested.
Yeah, I mean, a few of our members have got it. Obviously, Craig, that owns Pure Dead Gaming, obviously that I'm part of. They've got it, and everyone who has it, they're all very appreciative and very complimentary of it. I think there is an issue with major games, Matt. You said there's not a lot of games. Obviously, people can say, but there's 30 games available. Yeah, but there's only a few kind of dedicated PlayStation VR2 games, and there's a lot. Like, I'm sorry, like. Again, like I mentioned, we don't have enough. I would love to be able to game all day and not work, but there's not a hope in hell that I'm sitting when I could be playing at the moment Jedi Survivor. Go, do you know what? Actually, I want to play Beat Saber all night. There's not a world that exists. I'm sorry, it's just not.
Beat Saber's fun though.
Yeah, but I'm not sacrificing.
True. We'll let you off.
Yeah, if you had people around for a few drinks, maybe having a barbecue, whatever, and you have a few drinks, right? Get Beat Saber on the go, and we'll all fall over and crack our skulls.
I always don't see VR as a social thing though, unless because like you set it up for yourself, you put it on, and then someone else, and then they get their sweaty head on it, and they change things, and you're like, no, get off my 500 quid headset, you shithead. I think the price obviously put people off as well. The fact it's more, I'm not saying it's expensive for what you get. It's a very good headset for the price. But when you go like, I've got a console for 500, but for more than 500, I can now get an add-on for it. The general consumer will probably go, oof, maybe not.
Yeah, I think the future of PlayStation, future of Sony, they've looked at what Apple do. And Apple is all about this community of products all work together. Like, I don't know anybody that's got an iPhone that doesn't have an Apple Watch. As in, if they've got a smartwatch, they've got an Apple Watch. If they've got any kind of, earphones, whatever, they've got AirPods. And that's the way the Apple situations always work. If they've got a tablet, chances are they buy an iPad. Sony clearly wants to dip into that, because if you look at all the peripherals coming, especially those in-zone headphones or headsets as well. Obviously, there's the new potential, this sort of Project Q, it's called, this handheld cloud device. They're very much going down this route of locking you in to their ecosystem, all these peripheral devices, because then you can't get out. Because once you're deep in, you're in. If you've got an iPhone, if you've got an iPad and an Apple Watch and you've got AirPods, you're not switching to Samsung. You're not getting rid of all of that to go to Samsung. And I think, like they've looked at that. Someone mentioned about the Jim Ryan being the businessman. He very much is. And he's looked at that Apple formula and going, we want that in PlayStation.
Yeah, makes sense. Can't complain about that. What else is there? I think that's all the major news we've covered pretty much. It's just crap that BMG keeps throwing at us.
So that means it's time for 20 questions.
It does. Have you got a game though? That's the question.
Yes.
That's all right. So thank you to everyone who's tuned in so far. What we do at the end of each of these shows is we try and line it up a little bit, especially when there's all boring news articles and we're talking about blooming acquisitions every blooming week, and it's just we need something to pick us up. So we play a video game 20 questions. Normally the host BMG would pick a game, and it's up to the rest of the panel to guess what that game is. Now this game, we can only ask questions. We get 20 questions to ask, and they can only be answered yes or no. And the final question has to be guessing which game it is. If you guess wrong, you lose. So you've got to make sure you 100% know which game it is before you do your guess. We ask, or we've tried to make it so these games aren't like sort of hidden indie games that only like 15 people have played. We try and make them sort of slightly well known, that everyone in the panel has probably heard of in one sense or another. And yeah, so Sentinel today has picked the game, so I'm going to leave it up to him to get it started, mate.
All right, I'm just reading up on it, making sure I have the details correct. I have it in front of me, but I want to make sure that so that if you're asking me questions about this, that I can pretty much answer them without having to go back to the document each time. So, obviously, the way this works is it's yes or no questions. So you'd say, is this game an exclusive? Yes or no. Was this game released after the PlayStation 3 era? Yes or no. Stuff like that. You want to refrain from asking questions. Did it release in 1996 or something that really narrows it down, unless you already have an idea of which system it's on, what type of genre it is. You guys get the idea, right?
Yeah.
And we'll pretty much take turns. I mean, you guys can, go in whatever order you want. Also, if you guys want to work it out, that's what our private chat is for on this StreamYard. You guys can basically converse among each other. That way you can get on the same page. And if you guys are leaning a certain way and you're like, I think I know what it is, you can talk amongst each other to try to narrow it down. So, cool. I mean, that's pretty much it. You guys can go whenever you're ready.
Saturn. They want 20 games that were worth listing on the Saturn does.
I don't think anybody knows the games that were on the Saturn.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a tier list. I'm going to put it on my list for one of the next members' videos. I'm going to do a tier list of all the Saturn exclusive. It's going to be like a 10-second long video.
It's like just one.
There was like Daytona and Doom and a few others, yep.
Yeah. There was that Space Fireman game. That was quite good. I enjoyed that. So, yeah. But yeah, I'll let you guys go first, because and let's not lose, because every single one has been guessed so far. We've not had one loss, so let's not break. No pressure, but let's not let's not screw it up.
Right, I'll go first. Is the game part of a franchise that's still ongoing?
Yes.
That was a delayed reaction there.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Yes.
Does this game have a movie or TV adaptation?
For this particular game, no. Not that I'm aware of, no.
All right. Like, what we mean is, like, does the series of game... Did we say it's part of a franchise? Yeah. So
yeah, no, an ongoing franchise.
Does the franchise have... We mean, does the franchise have a TV show?
Give me a second. Let me see. I want to make sure before I say yes or no.
Because that's what we were asking. Not does this one specific game have a TV
yeah, does
show?
part two, does The Last of Us Part 2 have a TV show yet? Well, no.
This franchise does have a tie-in with another form of media. Yes.
Oh, that's narrowed it down a lot. Probably quicker than you expected, Sentinel.
No, I mean, that's a good question. That's a good question.
It is. I'm gonna.
It's not one BMG would ask, but it's a good question.
I've got tie-ins. Right. That narrows it down. I'm trying to think now. Was it an exclusive to one? Like, was it like a console exclusive?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Is the game, is it about like humans? As in, it's not spacey. It's about humans and Earth.
No.
Oh.
Interesting.
Let's write some of these down. I'm not going to remember them. Not humans.
Is the main character male?
Yes.
Is the game a first-person shooter?
No.
No. Let's Doom out of the way then.
What is that, 6 questions so far?
Don't know. Hang on. I've got not humans on Earth, media property, male character, not FPS. I forgot.
Does Naughty Dog produce the games?
Does Naughty Dog produce it or develop it?
Develop it then, yes.
No.
A simple no there would have sufficed.
Well, because I don't.
Like you've got a game show.
Well, because like
if
if a game is put out by one company or another, the development studio isn't going to publish it. So, just clarifying.
Does this game span multiple console generations?
Yes.
Did this game start before the PlayStation 3?
Let me clarify before I answer that.
He's off to Wikipedia.
Yeah, I have to. I mean,
I have no idea what you guys are thinking, so if you could put it in the private chat.
I'm thinking nothing. I'm just trying to think of good questions.
Yes, it did start before the PlayStation 3.
God, that's getting harder.
No franchise. It's not about humans and Earth.
No, it's not about human set space.
Media. It's got a media property. It's got a male character. It's not an FPS. It's not by Naughty Dog. Spans multiple.
I mean, you don't even know which system it's an exclusive for, to be honest, or which brand. That's a free one.
Oh, I assumed it was PlayStation because it was the PSN.
Oh no, we like.
Oh shit! I just assumed.
You got bamboozled.
I got totally bamboozled there.
Probably should have said that at the beginning. Sentinel.
Right. Well, it's open. It's open. It could have been a multi-platform game. Who knows?
Well, we know it's not a multi-platform. We say it was console exclusive.
Yeah, it is. But I'm saying I could have picked one, and
All right.
At least it's not BioShock 2.
Yeah.
Or is it?
No, it's not.
Skip me. I have no idea.
We always give BMG shit because he picked. I think BioShock was one of the first ones we had, and it was super confusing how he was answering the questions. He said it was an exclusive, and we were like, oh, so we're thinking all these other games, and I guess it was exclusive for like 20 minutes or something. Who knows? So it was like, oh my god, we almost got it wrong. I won't do that though.
Don't lie.
I'll give you another free one. It sold over 1 million units, so it is well known.
Well, it's not to like the billions of people that may not have bought it.
Yeah, but I mean,
really.
generally speaking, people don't buy tons of console exclusives. They buy third parties most of the time. So
when he said it was a media property, I think it's going to be a film and not a TV show. But I might be wrong.
I mean, you can narrow it down if you want.
I was almost thinking like comic book or something random because of how he answered the question.
Yeah. BMG and his dodgy wording. Come on, chat. You're being useless tonight. Get in there with some good ideas.
What's happening? Chat, please.
Yeah. Right. Let's think.
I mean, when it comes to things like this, you can narrow it down by time frame. You could narrow it down by which console it was. I mean,
you said it was multiple consoles. You said it spanned multiple consoles.
Yes, but this particular game that I'm thinking of, that's what it's about, not the franchise.
Yeah, but the franchise will help, you'd think. So, does the franchise have 4 or fewer games? So, i.e., under 5.
No.
So, it's got more than 5, or 5 or more.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Okay.
good question. That narrows it down.
That shouldn't, yeah, that, you'd think that would help narrow it down.
More than
You
5
say.
games and an exclusive. Wow. Okay. Is this game on Nintendo platforms?
No.
Okay, so it's probably Xbox One.
So what's it on? Xbox, are we saying?
No, not necessarily.
I mean, it's
Is the franchise still going to?
That was. I think that was your first question.
yes,
was
so it
the
was.
first
Yes,
one.
it was. Yeah. And yeah, so it is, and it is. Yes, and it is still going.
Yeah.
The franchise.
And it's not a first-person shooter.
No.
It's an exclusive. Eight, 9, 10.
And it's not on Nintendo. I could have thrown a curveball with Nintendo because they make all kinds of crazy shit, but I didn't.
We've not got many guesses left, though. Questions left.
oh man.
It's a franchise with more than 5 games, but it's an exclusive franchise with more than 5 games.
So narrow it down.
And it's set in space,
That makes me think Halo.
but it's not first-person shooter.
Yeah, then it's not Halo.
I was kind of think. I was.
That's what I
I
was
was
thinking
thinking. I was thinking Gears of War more than anything.
Yeah.
How
But
many
where's
Gears?
the? There's a lot. There's like 6. But where's the media tie-in?
It's getting it's getting a film, isn't it, on Netflix?
I think there was a Gears of War something.
Comic book. It's
Yeah.
a comic book series.
Books and comics. Is it a third-person game?
Yes.
Ooh.
Have I just said it?
I think you might be right.
I can't think what's on PlayStation, though, that could have more than 5 entries.
That's set in a space environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I say it's set in a space environment, I mean it doesn't happen on Earth. It happens on outside of Earth.
Yeah.
But it's before. You said it was before the PS3 gen as well, didn't you?
No, it started before the PS3 generation.
Yeah.
The franchise started before the PS3 generation.
Yeah, so it can't be Gears because it's out.
I'll give you another one. Another free one. You can play this on a modern console.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Did the recent game have multiple protagonists?
It had more than one, yes.
I think I've got it. Well, I'm thinking it's Ratchet and Clank.
I'm just typing that Ratchet and Clank. 'Cause-
Which one, though?
oh, you give it away now.
I mean, there's more than one. I mean, I'm just asking.
Yeah, there's a lot of Ratchet and Clanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it had a film, didn't it, Ratchet and Clank?
Yeah.
Which was shit, but...
You don't even know if it's a PlayStation exclusive, though.
Alright, we ain't got the fucking time for this shit.
Wow.
I think we've got questions for this shit. What we on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think we've asked.
You still got room.
Do you want to ask if it's a PlayStation franchise?
Whose turn is it? Mine?
Can do. Is it a
Whoever wants to go.
PlayStation franchise?
Yes.
Fucking wasting my question.
Oh man.
And now you've just got to guess which of the 600 Ratchet and Clank games it was.
Yeah, great. Wait,
It better not be a PSP Ratchet and Clank.
You
Oh.
could narrow it down by console.
did he say that the game he's thinking of came out before PS2?
No,
The franchise.
did.
Okay.
The franchise started before then.
All right, so let's narrow
Did
it
it
down.
come out on PS4?
No.
It's not that one.
Did it come out on PS2?
No.
I don't want to do it.
So it can only really be 3 games.
3 or 5. Yeah. I mean, there were so many on PlayStation 3. There were 2 or 3 on PlayStation 3, was there not? I think.
There was 2, and then 1 on the new.
Yeah. Is it Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart?
No,
Yes.
I can't ask because if you get it wrong,
Wait,
Yes.
you said yes.
Oh,
It is.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay. See, I picked an easy one. It's even a PS5 game. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
10
yeah.
points to
Yeah.
Gryffindor.
if you get it wrong, that's it. You just lose. The
See,
streak continues. We've managed it.
Oh, man.
amazing.
I'm going to somehow think of a game for tomorrow now, which will be fun.
Yep. I was like, oh, it's difficult because there's like 20 games in the franchise, and I was like, oh. So I picked the last one, obviously, the simplest.
That was a lot easier than BMG picking Donkey Kong on our.
Oh yeah, that was difficult. I didn't think we were gonna get that
We're
one.
all guessing I think we should have a thing where it's got to be a console game.
Yes.
Because otherwise you're wasting questions just like, is it an arcade game? No. All right. Is it on PC?
Yeah, no mobile or PC games. But there you go. You guys got it. Good job. Very good work.
Yeah.
Woo.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
No thanks to chat. That's because of Saturn.
I know.
Daz has been crushed by a Saturn, so he couldn't help, basically.
Right? Yeah. One of these days we'll have to pick a Saturn game, just, because Daz is always talking about it. I'll actually have to look up which games are on the Saturn, because I have no idea.
I've got a handful. I can send you some for maybe if I'm never on or something. Actually, I won't be on at the end of the month. I'm on holiday, so maybe I'll give you a couple at the end of the month.
Nice. That's when our streak will end, probably.
That's probably it, yeah.
When
It'll be like you and BMG just randomly sort of shouting out random, like, did it come out on August the 15th, 1996? Oh, God.
Oh, my God, no.
Is it
It was
third
my
person?
favourite game on the ZX Spectrum.
Oh,
Which Bubsy is it?
right.
Still don't beat Fabio. Is it third person? Yes. Is it a fighting game? No, it's a third person game. We've just is it a third person racing game? No, it's a third person game. Yeah, but can you go third person? You can go third person racing game. Yeah, but would say it were a racing game.
Second-person game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, thank you to everyone in chat for joining along. Thank you. You weren't playing on it, Daz. You were crushed by it. Blowing the dust off the top. That's what it's good for. Trying to get it to work and not break. But yeah, thanks to Sentinel for joining us as a panelist. And big thanks to our 2 guests. Do you want to tell everyone where you're from? Do you want to start first on it?
Yeah, so there's a podcast similar to yours called Pure Dead Gaming. We're based here in Scotland, and I perform for those monkeys as well. So which is always great fun. And so if you like what I talk about, check us out on there. Every Thursday, the weekly one goes live, and we do a monthly, what we call a recap episode, where we recap the top 5 points of the month, which is very, very popular, and people like to tune into that. So yeah, give us a spin.
Nice.
Awesome. What about you, Matthew?
Yeah, so Let's Pet Pets. If you guys like idle games or you like petting pets, go check it out. It's on Steam, early access. It's only $4.99, so get it.
Nice.
I can confirm it is a fun game, and like if you want to see footage of it, you want to see what it's like, you can look on our channel. I've done 2-hour streams, hour and a half streams of it. Really, really fun. Yes, takes up way too much of my time.
Sorry.
God damn it. I will get all the... It's like Pokemon crack trying to get them all. It's like,
Right?
it's like buy more eggs. I need more eggs. Oh, good times. But yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Thanks, everyone in chat. If you are listening to this on podcasting providers later on, big thanks for listening along there. You can, like I say, check out our website, www.xpnnetwork.com. I post up the reviews and loads of like news articles and stuff on there. You can find us on Twitter. There's at SSG Sentinel and at Ima_Ghostbuster with a 0 instead of an O. And you can find us on the XPN Network at XPN Network. And we do giveaways pretty much. We've got one running basically all the time. When one ends, I'll post another one up. We chat a lot of rubbish. You can join our Discord. There's links in the description, I believe. So you can join the chat there. Yeah, and that's about it, really. Oh, and also there's a link in the description. We're currently, through May, fundraising and raising money for Safe in Our World, which is a mental health charity. As part of being ambassadors for Outright Games, we're doing some sort of streams all the way through May for that. You can find the link in the description below. We're already over 100 quid, which is fantastic. So if we can give to it, please feel free to. It goes to a good cause. Obviously, not forcing you guys to, because like times are tough everywhere. I know that. You guys know it. But just being here, watching, means the world to us. If you can become members, fantastic. And we'll be putting another members video out on Saturday. I've literally been looking at some tier lists for Sega Saturn stuff just to wind Daz up. So I'm probably going to do one of them this week now, just because it'll be funny. So yeah, keep your eyes for that. We've got the XBL Party podcast tomorrow. Join myself, Sentinel. Fabio is joining us, I believe. BMG might be joining us if he's available. And who else are the guests, Sentinel? Because you've booked them.
We have Uso, Vinny, and Fabio. They should be popping in tomorrow. So
there you go. So we'll be talking probably about Redfall, because that seems to be the topic on everyone's lips. And
yes, it'll be a dumpster fire tomorrow, so definitely check it out.
I stand on the hill that Redfall's not that bad. It's not the game we want.
No, I just mean it'll be a dumpster fire. Someone's going to break a bottle. Someone will end up missing their shirt by the end of the podcast, so who knows? It's going to be crazy.
Oh, it's going to be great. But other than that, we'll leave you to it, guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon for another episode.
Take care, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Yes.